Warning, this video contains manga spoilers and quirk spoilers for people who haven't read the manga. If you read the manga, read chapter 210 and 229 to know what I'm talking about. And also, I hope you enjoy the video. Hi everybody, it's Oni here, and today bringing you part 1 of What If Deku was in the Miles Morales Spider-Verse movie. And also guys, if you guys want more of this series, try and get to 120 likes. There's no set time goal for this, so you can get it to whenever you want to. And also, I would like to explain how Izuku's power would fit into the movie. If you guys have caught up with the manga, you would know Izuku's powers would be Black Whip, Float, Super Strength with his One for All, Danger Sense. If you guys have known what that is from the manga, and if you guys are manga watchers or readers of the series, you guys would know what it is. Danger Sense is basically just a higher form of Spider Sense. Or I could be wrong and Spider Sense is a lot stronger. If you guys have watched the movie, it's shown that they can actually sense each other's around them. So what I'm going to make is Izuku can sense other people with powers in that movie, because only certain people have the powers, like how Miles Morales in his own universe has his own powers, like with the old Spider-Man and so on and so forth. If you guys can understand what I'm saying, if you guys have watched the movie. That's enough of me rambling on. So if you guys want to know any more information about the movie or anything about My Hero Academia, go watch chapter 295 or 294 to get a rough understanding of what Danger Sense is. And without further ado, let's get into the video. We're going to start this video off with the ending of the war arc and the start of the new series 6 of My Hero Academia, as Izuku was sitting down on a bench outside of the UA's dorms, meditating, trying to control Danger Sense. Because the side effects of this quirk is a bit severe on his mental capacity, the more he tries to use it, the more he starts to get more and more headaches, so he's trying to control it by meditating, trying to control his surroundings and try and set it off when it's mostly needed, like what Spider-Man does. The other thing that will be changed in this timeline is Eri would have more control of her quirk and would know how to evenly distribute it into different people instead of just focusing on one person and rewinding their body to its physical fittest state. As we come back to Izuku training and meditating with one of his new quirks that he got during the war arc. As Izuku was sat there meditating, Ochako decided to come up to him but playing with her fingers with a giant blush on her face, saying, "Hi Izuku, how you doing?" Ochako said, as Izuku just flat out ignored her because he's not paying attention. As Ochako came out and said it, "Izuku, I love you, Izuku, please go out with me," Ochako said, shouting at the top of her lungs, as this sort of annoyed Izuku because he was losing his concentration, as he just turned around and said, "Could you please just be quiet? I'm trying to get this quirk under control. If I don't get this under control, I can end up with brain damage," Izuku shouted at Ochako, as Ochako just started crying, saying, "I'm sorry for interrupting you," as she ran off back into the dorm rooms. Most of Class 1A saw Ochako running past them, crying, as most of them thought, "What happened? Did Izuku just reject her?" All the rest of the girls were thinking, as most of them went outside to see Izuku still meditating. They were thinking, "What a jerk. But why is he still meditating?" they thought. "I thought he would still be at least weirded out by it," Mina said. "It's like it barely even fazed him," Okakagiri said, as one of the girls went up to Izuku and just plain up slapped him, saying, "Why the hell did you just make Ochako cry like that, you stupid bitch?" Most of the girls said, as this girl who slapped him was Jiro. As Izuku just got plain up annoyed with that, saying, "Why the hell did you slap me for? What the hell did I just do?" Izuku shouted at her, "You just made Ochako cry." "What? Ochako didn't say anything to me. What do you mean?" "So you didn't hear her crying when she was running off?" "No, I didn't. I didn't even hear her come near me and say anything. I was in a meditative state for almost 2 hours. Of course I wouldn't hear anything," Izuku said, As Jiro said, go apologize to her. There's nothing to apologize for, is there? It's not my fault I made her cry, Izuku said, as everything went off as normal. But Ochako tried to avoid Izuku like the bubonic plague. As Izuku was just about to walk out of class, a weird blue, purple, and a bit of dark purple portal opened right in front of Izuku's bare eyes, as it started to engulf him and started making Izuku glitch out atom by atom. As Izuku was engulfed, as he was being pulled into different things, as he saw a giant cobweb of weird portals opening around him, as he sees some people fly through at the same time as him, but that was completely being ignored. Izuku started to sped up as he entered through the portal, as Izuku was flinged out in a rapid, missile-like pace as he smashed into a billboard. Ow, that hurt, Izuku said. As Izuku was about to fall off the billboard and fall 4 stories down, Izuku activated Black Whip and started hanging there. Holy shit, that was a long drop if I didn't catch myself. Damn, Izuku said. As Izuku looked down to see some people staring at him, but not much people were because they were ignoring it. As Izuku tried to use this opportunity to try and get onto one of the roofs and try and figure out where he is. As Izuku went up to the roof using One For All and Black Whip in tandem. As Izuku got up to the roof and tried to wonder where he was, so he decided to look for like a newspaper or a billboard to tell him where he is. As Izuku looked around, he decided to gather he was in New York. But why the hell would a portal lead him here, and who the hell would do it? Izuku was thinking. Okay, Kurogiri's in the prison, same with the rest of the League of Villains, so they can't portal me out of the Japan. As Izuku looked onto the billboard, seeing a Peter Parker and a Spider-Man, both on the billboard, but he doesn't know who this person is, so he decides to read it. As Izuku reads, Spider-Man, killed in action. Peter Parker is Spider-Man? Izuku was thinking, who the hell is Spider-Man? As Izuku just decided to walk and start to run off building to building, trying to get more answers for a situation that he is in the moment, as his danger sense went off and told him to duck. As he did so, as a plane was about to crash into mid-town, as Izuku, instantly without thinking, charged up 50% One For All and charged in, as at this point Izuku has 60% control. As Izuku charged in to save those people, as he used Float and Black Whip to try and catch the plane and hold it in place. As Izuku decided to go 60% Black Whip and 4% One For All to try and hold it. Stop! Izuku shouted at the top of his lungs, trying to get this to stop. As Izuku started to move his percentage of One For All even further up, started to use 5%, 6%, 10%, 15%, as he stopped at 16% as it stopped moving. As Izuku sighed in relief, thinking this was worth trying to stop, as Izuku was out of breath from using too much percentage at the same time in tandem with Black Whip. As Izuku was floating there, he decided to put his hood up just in case people might notice him. As Izuku put his hood up, as most of the people were staring at him, cheering, thinking there are another heroes here. Yes, they all thought it was Spider-Man at the point, but they had another look, it wasn't him. As most of the people were cheering, but most of them were puzzled, thinking, why is there another superhero here? I thought Peter Parker was only one. As Izuku floated down to an empty street that had barely any people on it, as he set the plane there, as he went down and broke the door to make sure everyone got let out peacefully, as everyone started cheering for him. As Izuku moment he knew everyone was okay, he flew off using One For All and Float in tandem this time, as he went flying. As someone in the distance with a white mask saw this, as they wondered who this was, as he traced after them. As Izuku stopped on a roof, wondering, okay, now this is being serious, where the fuck am I? Izuku thought. As Izuku went looking around even more. Okay, now I think I know where I might be. I'm in a parallel universe, Izuku said. There's no such thing as quirks here. Only Peter Parker has superpowers. So that means that parallel universes exist. Oh god, Izuku thought, as His danger sense went off as Izuku felt more drawn to this certain place as he let his danger sense guide him to the area where he was meant to be going to, as he was guided to a weird high school, Izuku thought. However, if my danger sense says it needs to become here, then I'm gonna have to come here. As Izuku wondered how he's gonna get in, as he had a second thought. When's there testing exams in this country for this school? Or can I just transfer in without any issue? Because I have no parents or family here, Izuku said. Ah, damn it. Looks like I'm gonna have to make this up as I go. As he do a time skip for that day, as Izuku was wondering where he was gonna sleep and stay. As Izuku was making fake documents to say who he was, because in this universe there's no way in hell he can stay here without a fake ID. As Izuku signed himself up for one, even though he knew this was wrong. As that next day went on, as Izuku applied for the school, as he took the test and got full 100 score, as Izuku decided to go to his first class of the day. By the way, I want to say that Izuku's danger sense will be able to sense people with other superpowers, just to make this a lot easier on me. As Izuku was walking through the corridors, as he felt a weird feeling that he's never felt before, as his danger sense went off, but it didn't hurt as much as what it should do. As Izuku sensed someone that had powers, but he didn't know where it was. As Izuku turned around to see a black-haired guy walking the school grounds, trying to pull up his pants. As Izuku wondered why the hell was this kid getting his danger sense all riled up. As Izuku decided to keep a close eye on him for the rest of the day, just to see why it's been setting off like this. Maybe my danger sense brought me here for this reason, Izuku thought. As Izuku attended his first class of that day, as Miles Morales came walking in, just juggling his books around saying, "I'm late, maybe you're just all early," Miles Morales said like he did in the movie, as everyone was quiet except for Mizuku and Gwen both giggled at it, thinking it was kind of funny. Oh, sorry, it was kind of funny, Izuku and Gwen said in unison, as they both looked at each other and say, "Wow, we actually said that in unison. Nice." As Miles Morales went to go sit down, juggling his books as he did when he came in, as he just turned to Izuku saying, "So, it's alright, I thank you for laughing at the joke. No one's ever got that." "No problem, man." As Izuku felt something strange, as he was asked to be excused for a little bit. As Izuku walked out, as he just started to feel some random pain, as he started to glitch, as some of his atoms just started to evaporate into itself. As Izuku went onto the floor, writhing in pain, as the glitching stopped, he felt fine, but he just felt unwhole. As Izuku said, "Shit, I need to hurry this up and find a way home. This is really bad," Izuku thought. "My atoms feel like they're ripping apart. I really need to find a way home now, instead of just relying on these fucking other people here. Don't know why my danger sense is telling me to stay here," Izuku said. "This world is ripping me apart. I can't stay here any longer." And Izuku was just about to leave for his danger sense went off, telling him to duck, as a blonde-haired girl put her hand on his shoulder, or at least tried to. As Izuku flipped over using floats, as this person who touched Izuku's shoulder saying, "Whoa, what the hell?" As this person's sense went off, saying, "You're just like me." This person being Gwen Stacy, as she put her hands on his shoulder saying, "Who are you?" As she shook him cautiously, as Izuku said, "My name's Izuku Midoriya. I'm from another world," he said. As Gwen was a little bit happy knowing someone like her in her situation was here with her. As Gwen decided to tell Izuku what they needed to do to get home. As Izuku explained, "Why are they here then?" She says, "Well, to get back home, for some reason, tell me to come here. Or my spider sense is trying to tell me to come here." "Same here, but why the hell did you call it spider sense? My power is called danger sense," Izuku said. "Well, don't you have spider powers?" Gwen said. "No, my power is float, black whip, super strength, and sensing. That's my powers, Izuku said. So, how do we get home? You said you know how to get home, Izuku said. Yes, I do, but it's kind of risky. We're gonna have to go to Fist Tower to try and get access to the generator that he used to bring us here, Gwen said. Why the hell did you just sigh in defeat? Izuku said. Well, Fist is one of the strongest people on here. He's the one who killed Spider-Man, Gwen said. Oh shit, Izuku said. So, where's the other Spider-Man? 'Cause my danger sense went off saying there's another one here. Well, that would be the black kid you saw that was in the front of our class this morning, Gwen said. How long has he had his powers for? Izuku said. We don't know. We? There's others? There's one more, but he's a little bit in the shadows at the moment. We don't know where he is, Gwen said. We're gonna have to wait this out, aren't we? Shit. As they all went back to class as normal, as the glitching didn't happen until a couple hours later, when Izuku and Gwen both started glitching when they were swinging around. Izuku was just being taught how to swing with Black Whip, because he thought it would be a lot cooler to do it that way, and a lot more efficient instead of just causing meaningless damage to his surroundings, because he didn't have that much control of One For All yet. As he picked up swinging from building to building very easily, because Black Whip and Float in tandem helped him out a lot. As Izuku got to his destination, which was Alchemex Labs, the first road on Hudson Valley Lane. As Izuku and Gwen landed on the roof, as they started to crawl in through the air vents, as they saw two scientists walking around a corner that had no cameras, as Izuku took advantage of this and used Black Whip as he captured all of them into his Black Whip tendrils. As Gwen noticed this, and says, Izuku, what are you doing? Shh, 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 be quiet, they might hear you. As Izuku knocked them out, as Gwen decided to actually tie them up with the webs. Look, we're gonna have to steal their suits and their ID cards so we can sneak in. As Gwen went along with it, as Izuku dressed up as one of the doctors, same with the Gwen. As the same things went on as like in the movie, as Izuku and Gwen both walked into Alchemex. As everything went on the same as the movie, Peter and Morales decided to break into Alchemex before them and steal the information. As Izuku and Gwen both got knocked into Morales, trying to turn invisible and non-invisible. As Gwen fell over, before she could, Izuku helped her up. Thanks, I guess, Izuku. So I'm guessing that's what we came for, Izuku said. As Gwen said, replying, saying, yes, we did. We need to go get that now. As Izuku and Gwen decided to go into a corner and get changed into the superhero suits. Oddly enough, Izuku bought one that was from Spider-Man. What I mean by that is, if you've seen the movie, it's from the Spider-Man shop when Spider-Man died. As Izuku saw Miles Morales and another Spider-Man swinging around the trees, as they saw them getting shot at, as Izuku and Gwen decided to take the stragglers out at the back, trying to move forward a little bit, trying to take out from back to forward. As Izuku and Gwen got to the last guy, as they saw them almost drop the PC, as Izuku tried to rush it, trying to grab it, but Dr. Octopus managed to grab it. As Gwen decided to save those two from hitting the ground, as she did what she did in the movie, jumped from tree to tree, hiding her presence for a little bit, and then Izuku came in as she distracted her for a little bit and punched her right in the gut, sending her flying back. As before the PC could hit the floor, Gwen grabbed it and went onto the tree, tiptoeing like a ballerina. As she took off her mask, as Miles Morales said, Gwanda? Actually, it's Gwen, Gwen said, as their backstory would play. As Izuku used Black Whip to grab onto the tree and float up using floats. I think we need to get out of here faster than what you anticipated, Gwen. Okay, then let's go then. As they undid Spider-Man and Miles Morales from the spider webs, as they both went off into the trees. As we cut to the bus ride home, as the conversation went like canon for the movie, of course. as Miles Morales was trying to hit on Gwen. As Izuku went like, I think we have a job to do here, so Miles, stop flirting. As Miles let that aside, saying, I'm not flirting, what you on about? Miles said, in a very awkward tone. Also, why the hell is Miles wearing a cape? Izuku said. I think it looks cool. As Gwen said, Spider-Mans don't wear capes. And she just starts laughing. I know, right? It's stupid. Spider-Mans do not wear capes at all, no matter what, because they get into our way of swinging and fighting bad guys. The only way you would wear a cape is for aerodynamics, but that only happens when you're flying. We are swinging. As Peter finished that sentence, so Peter asked, saying, So, Izuku was it? Yo, what's up? What Spider-Man are you? You don't have any like wall crawling abilities, you just have webs. Actually, I'm not a Spider-Man. I'm actually just a person with supernatural abilities. I don't have any Spider-Man powers, but my powers are literally almost the exact same what you mean. Your web shooters is what I call my black whip ability. Your wall crawling is basically just my super strength, put my fingers into a wall and make sure my fingers go through the wall to make sure I stick. As for my super strength, explanatory, Izuku said. As for me swinging, I use floating and the black whip ability that I told you about in tandem to make it a lot easier for me to start swinging, Izuku replied, saying. So you weren't bitten by a radioactive spider, Peter said. No, I was not. So where we're gonna get another one of those goobers, as you would like to put it, Peter. I'm thinking we should go to, as Gwen interrupts, saying, I know the place, you just have to follow me, Gwen said. Alright then, let's go then. As they all got off the bus and went to their destination, as they arrived at Aunt May's house, as Peter shot a web at the doorbell, making it ring, as Aunt May answered the door saying, Sorry, fans, we don't want any more of you, could you please leave us for the day? As she went to go drop the bat, as she let out a tear through her eyeball, as she walked down to say, Peter, is that you? As Peter did the same thing as he did in the movie, acting very awkwardly, as Miles apologized like he did in the movie, saying, I'm so sorry, I was there when Peter, died. Miles said in shame, putting his head down, as Izuku interjected, saying, Do you know where we're gonna get another one of these goobers? Right, follow me, Aunt May said. As they all went to the back garden, Peter started to remark, saying, Oh, I've got one of these. It's just basically you open the shed and something magical happens, Peter said in a very cocky tone. As the door opened through DNA through Aunt May's signature. As they opened it and went down, it realized it was like an elevator going down the stairs. Izuku was surprised when they went down how it looked. It looked like a bat cave, Izuku remarked. What's a Batman? Aunt May said. Oh, it's something from my universe. It's about a powerless person being a hero, Izuku remarked. So, about you knowing about us being from another dimension, let me guess, there's other people here with superpowers, Izuku was saying. Actually, yes there is, just look up. As all their powers decided to go off with their spider sense, saying they're all just like us. Izuku just stood there being the odd one out, as everything went as canon, as Miles Morales got a shit beaten out of him by his own teammates, as he left turning invisible. Oh gosh, Izuku said. So Izuku, Gwen said, do you have a costume by any chance since you got teleported here? Actually, no, I don't have one, Izuku said. So, how are you gonna get one? I'm actually going to, I don't know actually, Izuku said. Actually, I have an idea, Aunt May said, and she pulled out a spray can and some green wool, or cotton as you like to say. As she says, Peter says there's always a time for everything, as this time is for this. As Aunt May handed him green wool, or, cotton. As Izuku decided his own costume, as I'll put a picture on screen or it will just be the picture of the main icon I use for my video, as what Izuku's costume would look like. As Izuku's finished his costume, most of the people thought he looked good in it. As everyone went upstairs except from Penny Parker and Aunt May staying down there trying to make the goober. As Izuku and Gwen and everyone else was having a chat upstairs about what Izuku's powers really are, Izuku started saying, "If I tell you the truth about my powers, you have to keep it a secret between yourselves." "Okay," Izuku said. As Izuku sighed, saying, "Okay, my real name for my power is called One for All. My power can be basically be passed on, and so on and so forth, and that's how I can become stronger. If I use 100%, my arms break. Basically, the more it gets passed on, the stronger it becomes. Basically," Izuku said, as Peter Parker interjected, saying that it is possible, but how would the power become stronger? That's where the stockpiling comes to play. The stronger the person is, but before it gets passed on, the power gets passed on to that person, Izuku said. That'll be the stockpile nature. As for the other powers I have, that's from the other users. Basically, I've got the powers of what you guys have, basically, but tenfolded, Izuku said. Instead of needing symphonic webs, I can use them organically from my own body. But they're not as fast, I would guess, but I can work on that, Izuku said. Is that it? Actually, there's more, but I don't want to go into too much detail because it gets really confusing halfway through, Izuku said. "Okay, done," Penny said out loud, as everyone was standing there getting ready to go, as Miles came rushing through the door in a cold sweat. My uncle, he tried to kill me." "Wow, that's some crazy backstory," the other Spider-Man said. As Peter Parker said, "Have you been followed?" "I don't think so, no," as the door got smashed through. As all the villains that Peter Parker has tried to defeat over the years came through, Scorpion, Doc Ock, and so on and so forth. I really can't remember. I haven't watched the movie in a couple of months, so I'm going off my head at the moment. So sorry if I get anything wrong. As the fight consumed like it did in canon, but this time, Izuku took care of Scorpion with ease, chopping his neck, knocking him out. As the fight with Miles Morales and his uncle would go drastically different. As Miles got instantly rushed by his uncle, Izuku would have clotheslined him with 5% One for All, and after doing that, kicking him in the stomach, sending him flying through the roof. As Izuku said, "Sorry, Miss May, but I'm gonna have to destroy your roof because of this." As Izuku flew through the roof, smashing into Miles' uncle's stomach, sending him flying down, as he's been knocked out, as this means Miles' uncle stays alive. As Miles still got the emotions like he did in the canon, thinking his uncle might have just died. As Izuku said, "You gotta go, man. Run, Miles, run," as Miles set off swinging invisible. As the moment he got to the alleyway that he did in the original, Miles' dad came up, the police officer, saying, "Put your hands in the air and put them behind your back," he said out loud, as Miles was scared, thinking his uncle was dead, as Miles turned invisible and run off like he did in the original. As Miles went back to his roommate's dorm, basically, as everything consumed the same, but Izuku was there to comfort Miles in his time of need. "Miles, I know what it is like to have new powers and you're supposed to feel really stressful, but if you want some advice, when I got my powers, I couldn't know how to control them all. I consistently broke my limbs and I almost died a couple times from using it, but I always learned from those mistakes and I got stronger," Izuku said. "So you can do it too. Go beyond, Miles. You're the best of us. We see more potential in you than any other Spider-Man," Peter Parker interjected. "Once you've learned how to use them, Miles, we see great potential in you, but since then, we're going to have to leave you here, Miles. if you go, it's gonna put you in risk. As Miles understood this, not like the original. He whined in the original though, as Miles was thinking about it. But the moment he was thinking about it, he instantly turned invisible. As Peter Parker was shocked about that. Miles, can you do that command now? Peter Parker said. No, this is just a random tick again. As everyone went out the window like the original, as everything went the same after that. But Miles felt more inspiration from Winnie Zuku's words, as he broke free from his binds, as he went to go see Aunt May, as everything went like the original, 2,000 kilometers, that type of song and everything like that, as he started swinging to the area where the collider was. But this will drastically change the series because Izuku is stronger than every Spider-Man combined right there. This is where we're going to leave the video off today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have, please tell me in the comment section down below. And make sure to slap a subscribe button while you're down there if you want more of this. I recently got a complaint in my Discord server saying you guys didn't get the notifications that you wanted. So I'm just saying that right now because YouTube is more or less blacklisting my channel half the time because of the Snake Girl What If. So if you guys would like more of this series, please tell me in the comment section down below. And also we have a personal Discord server for our community that's also linked down in the description down below if you guys would like to join it or not. And without further ado, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.